Hey, what's up, my lovely darlings? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Iammoraa. Today is Sunday, the 24th of November, 2019. It is currently 3:53 p.m. and I decided today that I am going to be doing a vocal recording of some nature. It's kind of like a podcast, but it isn't. I haven't decided if I want to start a podcast, but this is a quick example of what we are going to be talking about on my channel. So, for those who don't know me, hi, thank you so much for clicking onto this video. My name is Iammoraa. I am currently 22 years old. I turned 22 on the 22nd of November, and God is good, God is great. Of course, there are so many different things on my channel that I want to speak about that are very controversial for a lot of people, but today we are going to be talking about the continent of Africa. Now, for those who don't know me, I am from Kenya originally, born and raised in Kenya. I moved to the United Kingdom in 2009, and I have lived in the UK for the past decade. Of course, 100% it has been a wonderful, wonderful experience living in a different continent, but as an African, as a Kenyan, I have noticed that there's a lot of people who are still speaking controversially about my continent, about my homeland, about just Africa in general, and I wanted to sit down with you guys and change the narrative. The title of this video, of course, of this recording is going to be called Change the Narrative. Now, the reason why you might be thinking, Iammoraa, why call it Change the Narrative? As an African, I have noticed that a lot of people still think of Africa as a charity case. Now, I'm going to be dead honest with you. We are not charity cases. In the United Kingdom, we have something that is called benefits, where the government supplies its public who are unable to work, who are unable to provide for their own families. In this country, you are given money by the government. In Africa, in Kenya, there is no such thing. Now, I am not going to sit here and speak negatively about the Western world. I am not going to sit here and speak negatively about the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom is obviously my second home, so I will never speak negatively of it. I will speak negatively about the people that speak, who besmirch, who speak negatively about other continents, continent of Asia or Africa. We're always looked at, they're capable of managing it, but we should save money every single year to send money to that child in Africa who is struggling and walking miles and miles to get water. Now, maybe that does exist, but that is the problem of our governments to fix, not an outside government to come in and fix it. And of course, there are so many different things where we can be able to change the narrative. And as an African, I feel like it is our own fault that we continue to sit and become charity cases. I want to be able to turn around and speak freely and put my mind out there as a woman, as a human being, and tell people that Africa is a beautiful continent. It is a big, large landmass, and not every single thing that you see on television is true. We live long periods of time. We don't have small, tiny little children dying in hospitals. And maybe if we do, that is the problem of our governments to fix. I am so sick and tired as an African constantly being asked the same stupid question by people who turn around and they say to me, "Oh, so do you not speak English when you're coming from Africa?" I mean, listen to my English. I speak fluent English. I spoke English the moment I entered the United Kingdom. It's not a language that I learned in the United Kingdom. Sometimes I sit and I wish my parents would have gone to France, and of course I would have added French or Spanish or German onto my literacy. But of course I will never look down on the United Kingdom because it is my home. Now, the one thing that I feel like my viewers or my listeners should understand, of course, is you don't want people to be talking about your home. You don't want people to say how parts of your family are, poor and they don't have good lives, or they struggle, or all of these things. Africans, we are family oriented. If you have a family member that is struggling, 1001%, everybody will pitch in to make sure that that person is assisted. But we do not condone laziness. We do not condone people to sit down on their asses and not do anything. We encourage. My grandfather is 90, and that man wakes up every single morning, walks to the other side of the village and walks all the way back. He wakes up every morning and looks after his cattle, but that man has worked his entire life. And I think the one thing as an African I want to change is that the whole continent of Africa is strong and capable. I want us as Africans to change the narrative. For example, everybody knows a Nigerian, everybody knows a Ghanaian, everybody knows everything about West Africa. West Africa is booming. It's one of those sides of the continent that everybody praises because of artists like Stormzy, Burna Boy, everybody in the Yemi Alade, and they're all West African. I feel like every side of Africa needs to represent itself. And I feel like a lot of us sit down and we're waiting for somebody else to come out and do it for us, instead of us picking up our own balls and actually lifting up our continent and saying that I am an African, I am proud to be an African, and I will continue to stick and stand up for my continent. No ifs, ors, or but. I am there. Now, if you are an African, by any chance, you should come out and support your continent. You should make sure that if an artist from your country releases a single, go out there and buy it. If they come into wherever you live, in the UK, in the States, in Asia, if they come out to perform a concert, go out and support. And I think that's one thing that I said to myself in 2020. I want to do that, to support musicians, to support artists, to support different people, to support Black people, to support anybody who is from my continent, someone who looks like me, to support them and make sure that their music is listened to blast it on my phone until I end up knowing every single word for word in an album. Nobody can come out and support your artists but you. You cannot sit there and tell me that, oh my God, I'm an African, and you only listen to one type of music. You have to know, I am a Kenyan and I listen to musicians from Kenya, for example, Sauti Sol. I listen to musicians from Tanzania, for example, Diamond Platinumz, Rayvanny. I listen to musicians from South Africa. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten her name, but she sings the John Cena song. I listen to musicians from West Africa, Yemi Alade, Burna Boy. Even Stormzy is British grown, but he's from Ghana. We have to work together to support our continent and change the narrative. I have been Iammoraa. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any other, if you have a comment and you guys want a topic that I should speak about, leave it down below. We can discuss everything. And as always, we can change the narrative. Have a lovely day. I am Iammoraa. Peace.